We are all connected through shared experiences, and while our circumstances may vary, there is almost always a common thread in our stories. I am Amy Seaman, and these are the stories that connect us.
Oh, hi, friends. Welcome to another episode of A Common Thread podcast. I'm your host, Amy Seaman, and today I have with me two guests, and they have the unfortunate common thread they share of breast cancer. We have Amy Bryce, who is a survivor. And we have Jacquelyn Vranicar, who is a thriver with stage 4 metastatic. Together, these two women joined forces and they co-created a documentary called 1 in 8, which is the staggering statistic of how many women will be diagnosed with breast cancer at some point in their lifetime. 1 in 8.
And it's getting worse, actually.
Isn't? Yeah. So scary. So I wanted to invite them on. I had the honor of going to the pre-screening of the documentary. And afterward, I connected with them and I wanted them to come on and share more about their story and talk about the documentary. And so that's the plan for today.
Yeah, thanks for having me here.
Thanks for having us. Amy, we're going to start with you. Before we get into your story, I'm going to tell everyone how I met Amy. We're just giggling about this. So Amy is a phenomenal baker. She founded and was the previous owner of Amy's Cupcake Shop. And so I had found Amy through a mutual friend. And you made a birthday cake for both of my sons, I think.
Yeah. Yep.
And we went to your home. This is before you had a store.
Big first birthday, and it looked like it was a wild thing party.
Yes,
so
where the wild things are.
Where the wild things are. I made a little crown and like the little wood-looking cake.
It was so beautiful. It was so beautiful. And so we went, So we went to your house to pick it up. My husband and I went, and we went in, and we were chatting with you, and got the cake, and we get in the car. And as soon as we get in the car, my husband looks at me, and goes, "You know, I went to high school with her, right?"
How would I know that? How would I know that?
I mean, you acted so awkward in there. Like, why didn't you say anything? He's like, well, I didn't think she'd remember me. I'm like, well, you could have at least
remember me?
Yes. Anyway.
Hi, Chris.
Shout out to Chris. Maple Grove High School.
Yep. That's a 2001.
Yes. So anyway, I've continued to use you over the years for all the baked goods and followed your journey on social media. So why don't you start by telling us about your diagnosis the day you found out?
Yeah. So I had just gotten through COVID as a small business owner. And things were really just like clicking into place better. I felt like I didn't have to work 23 hours a day anymore. And it was September of 2022. Actually, it was February when I found it was like an indentation on my left breast. And I had lost some weight recently, so I was like, I don't know, maybe this is what my little boobs look like. Because you know how your body changes when you lose weight. And so I didn't show it to my husband until August, probably. And he's like, go to the doctor. Like, what is wrong with you? And I was like, no, because then they'll tell me I have cancer, and I don't want to know that. And because we have quite a bit in our family of just history of it. And my dad's mom, my mom's mom, aunts and not uncles, but like aunts and things like that. And so finally I got an appointment with my doctor, and then he canceled for whatever reason. And so it wasn't until the end of September that I finally got in and did like an exam with my doctor. And as soon as he started feeling around, like his whole face just dropped. And I was like, well, that is good news. And he goes, we need to get you in for an ultrasound and a mammogram, like right away. Okay. And that was a Wednesday. And Friday, September 30th, I had my ultrasound, or I had my mammogram, my ultrasound. And at the time, they still weren't letting you have like other people with you. So I was there, like my mom drove me there, but she wasn't able to come in, which was kind of rough because I was nervous and scared, and everyone else is just like sitting in the waiting room in these like very comfortable gowns. But like, I don't know. I didn't feel like I could talk to anybody about it or say like, I'm scared and everyone was kind of laughing and having a good time. And after my ultrasound, so I used to work in the medical industry. I was at CT Tech for 10 years. And the last place that I worked was a clinic, and we had CT, X-ray, ultrasound, MRI, all the things. And so I got used to seeing those things. And I know that if you have a tumor, that if it has vasculature to it, so an artery or a vein or whatever, which are characterized by blue and red on an ultrasound, that it's not great. that means your tumor has blood flow to it and things like that. So when I had my ultrasound, I saw that and I was like, yeah, okay, probably have cancer. And the radiologist comes in, and she was actually somebody I worked with at the U. She was a resident there when I was working there. And she came in and she was just bawling. She's like, Amy, I'm so sorry. And she's like, we have to get you in for a biopsy, like right now, if you're available right now. We had a cancellation at 9 a.m. And I was like, yeah, whatever. And another doctor that I worked with at the U did the biopsy part. I was like, man, it's like a little whole reunion here going on. And then that was on a Friday, so I had to wait all weekend for my results, which I feel like they should have given me something, like something to relax me or something to, just because I was so stressed all weekend. And then Monday, after you kind of have that part, they assigned me a nurse navigator, which helped with like questions or things like that. And on Monday, she goes, well, if we get your results back before 3:30, I'll give you a call. But if not, like, that's the end of my shift. So, like, I'll call you the next day. And because of my medical background, I know how to read a report. I don't know, like, the specific numbers of breast cancer and staging and all the things that come with it. But yeah, I was sitting on my chart just refreshing. And then it got to be like 4:30 and I'm going, well, she's not going to call, so I'll just keep looking at it. Obviously, that was the best idea. And it just, one of the refreshes, it pops up and it says breast cancer. And I just sat on my floor, bawling my eyeballs out. Nobody was home. Kaylee was at school. My husband was at work. And even though I'd been in the medical field, I know the advances that we have for early stage breast cancer, because then obviously I looked up what all the numbers mean of all the things. And not all the pathology was back yet, so I didn't have those. But I still felt like it was a death sentence, even though it was stage 1, even though it was early. And even though I felt like I knew better, I still feel like it was a death sentence. Whether it's now or whether it's 20 years from now or whether it's... And we just proceeded to do everything in the worst possible way. Like the hardest treatment, the most invasive surgeries, radiation, all those things just to try to keep it out of my body. So,
yeah. So you said you kind of knew at the beginning, and yet you didn't want to know, right? So if you could go back again, or if someone's listening and they're like, something doesn't feel up, right? Would you have gone in sooner? Would that have changed anything for you or no?
No, I don't think I would. Seeing people go through, even as a CT tech, like you don't see the worst of things, because when they're coming in for their scan, I'd say probably 75 to 80% of our patients were cancer patients, whether it was BMT patients, breast cancer, leukemia, just everything. And so they would come in every 3 months, every 6 months, every year. And as they would come in, they would either get kind of closer together with their scans or they'd get further apart. And it got to a point where I was like, well, everyone's just walking around with cancer and they just don't know it yet. And then when that was me, and when I found that on myself, I was like, here we go. It's my turn, I guess. And I think I would have waited longer even. But, yeah. But I told my husband, and he's wrong with you.
Yeah, right.
And just because, I mean, you're scared. You're scared of that bad news. You're scared of that. Like everyone says, you're one bad day away from doing a lot of things. And I wasn't ready for that.
Yeah.
So I don't think I would have done it differently. Okay. And I didn't do self-exams or anything like that, because that's what old people do.
Well, and that's the thing too. You could not have prevented this.
No, right.
Yeah.
That's the point there, right?
Yes.
But that was everything that I thought of.
Yeah.
I should have eaten healthier. I shouldn't have drank so much because during COVID, we were professionally keeping our bar and brewery in business. And you're welcome. Like, we have to keep the economy going.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, I should have exercised more. I should have eaten healthier. I should have whatever. But then you see people who are all those things and they still have cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And and Stacy and Jenna, and it's just, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who it is or what you do. And I think that has to do with a lot of the shame that is surrounding it. Is this is your fault.
Mm-hmm.
And if you kind of verbalize that, it's like, oh, well, obviously you got cancer because you're not healthy or because you're whatever the reason is. Well, at least you got the easy cancer, so that's better. That's like,
If people say that to you?
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Because breast cancer is so,
That's why that end of things not to
Yeah.
say to someone who has cancer.
Yeah.
Nice to get along.
or a free boob job or just any of the things. Yeah.
Well, people don't know what to say either.
Right. And they're trying to connect with you.
Yes, but not that.
Yeah, not that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to dive more into some of like your journey and the procedures and stuff. Jacquelyn, tell us about your diagnosis the day that
Yeah. I feel like it really happened twice because 2020 went for routine physical and everything was great because I was that person who didn't drink, was eating kale chips, like it stopped drinking Diet Coke in college because it was bad for me. I was doing all of those things so that's why I went for my routine physical during COVID because I was on top of my health. And so I told my gynecologist, because everything was great, I said, but something doesn't feel right. Like, I don't know what it is, but it pushed me to go to this appointment and it's pushing me to say something.
So you didn't feel a lump or
No, and she didn't either. No, she didn't feel anything.
You just had this like gut instinct that something was
Absolutely. Yes, because everything was fine. She did a breast exam. There was nothing. And so she said, well, let's test your thyroid because maybe that's making you feel different. And let's get a baseline mammogram. And so I went to that mammogram and they found my tumor. And then we did the biopsy and we did. And then after that, you get like an MRI, a chest MRI, which is so stupid.
Go ahead. It's so funny because you're just like laying on your stomach. And you're just like, this is where your boobs go.
Yes.
And you're like, okay. So you just like,
yes.
scoot them on in there. And it's like,
And
I didn't have very big boobs anyway. But then just like, okay.
yeah, I'm like, well,
Like this.
Just like, which is also funny during doing a mammogram when they're small. Because it's like, we can't get anything in here, but we're just going to like.
and your face is smashed so much against the
Yes.
plexiglass.
They're like, a little more, a little more. Okay.
Are you okay? Yes.
Yes.
Very comfortable.
And so they do a chest MRI. It's okay. I laughed through most of this. And that's all they do. They don't do a full body scan, which I really think they should, because my lymph nodes on ultrasound were all clear. And then we did the chest MRI, and I was diagnosed with stage 2. And I sent all of my test results to Mayo because I'm like, well, we're an hour away. We might as well, take advantage of that. And they said, yep, we agree. It looks like stage 2. And I was scheduled to have my port placed. The port is, like this. It goes under your skin. It connects to your veins. So you don't have to access your veins. And they don't get this artery. Thank you. They go into an artery and
your heart.
So that you don't destroy the veins in your arms during chemotherapy. And so,
Vein. Sorry.
I think it is a vein.
It is a vein. I think it's a vein.
I think it's this like
Clavicular vein.
Yeah, what she said. And I was like, everything was scheduled, going to start chemo. And then the doctor, oncologist from Mayo said, our radiology team sees something on your liver, but the scan wasn't meant to capture your liver. So, maybe you want to, it's just noted in your chart. I'm like, okay. And she said, it doesn't look like cancer, but like, okay, great. And again, this is all video because it's 2020 and we can't see anyone in person. And so I get my port placed, I start chemotherapy, shave my head, have a mohawk for a short while because our 3 oldest kiddos are boys and one of them had a mohawk. And he's like, Mom, do a mohawk. So I'm doing all this stuff and chemo sucks and do 12 weeks of chemo. I met with my liver guy at the U. He's hematologist, like shouldn't downgrade his qualifications. And he said, yeah, that shouldn't be on your liver, but it doesn't present itself as cancer. So when you're done with your cancer treatment, I think we should remove it. Like, okay, great. I don't care what it is because it's not cancer. Do a double mastectomy after 12 weeks of chemo. And then I could qualify to do another surgery 6 weeks following that surgery. So I'm like, yeah, we're just in the trenches. Let's do this. And so then we go and do a liver resection. They remove 60% of my liver. And if you didn't know, it regenerates. So it's a great organ to have something go wrong because you can top part of it off. And
Just makes new liver.
yes, it's really great. And then I remember in the recovery room, he says, now that we have it out, it looks like cancer. But in my head, I'm thinking, well, again, who cares? Because we just removed it.
Yeah. Right.
So I go home. I'm like, okay, I am done with the surgeries. I might have to do some radiation, if I want to. And I'm walking to the bus to get my kiddos off the bus. And I get a call from my oncologist. And she says, got the pathology report and your ovaries are fine because my cancer is hormone fed. So I opted to remove my ovaries. So I didn't need to have to take a shot every month. And she said, but it was breast cancer in your liver. So this changes your prognosis. And I'm processing this. And I said, what does that mean? And she said, I don't know, 5-7 years. And I was like, for the what? And I said, to live? And she said, that's
Just like that. It's just like that.
Yeah. And like nothing against her. She was just delivering this message. What she had to, I can't imagine being her. Giving that message to me must have been, worst part of her job besides losing patients. And so, that's when, so all along I had been stage 4, right? So it's de novo metastatic where your first diagnosis is stage 4. And so
what did you do? You're standing at the bus stop.
Yeah, I'm like in shock and I get the kids off the bus and I go home and I'm like frantically that I call my husband and he was actually with me because I was recovering from the liver surgery and we were in shock. And so of course, worst thing, we start Googling it.
Yeah.
Ugh. No. But and that's where we start, reading that the 5-year survival is 22%, that the 10-year survival is nothing. Really just, the sky just started falling. And, it was devastating.
Yeah.
I mean, I was getting my kids off the bus and I have a 2-year-old at home. And I started calculating their ages. Okay, in 5 years, my daughter would be 7. Will she remember me? I didn't because would she remember me? Because my own mom, died at 51 from stomach cancer. And my sister turned 5 like a couple weeks after she passed and she does not remember.
Mm.
And I was like, oh crap, like this is right. That is heavy. Yep, really heavy. And so then I opted to do radiation, even though after they removed that cancer, there was no detectable cancer. It had gotten there through my lymph system or my blood. So it's out there. And so I opted to do radiation, did 29 rounds of radiation just to kill anything that might be there. And then I started an oral chemotherapy that I take twice a day. And I take a hormone blocker because our brains also make estrogen, even though I removed my ovaries. So that I woke up, from that surgery then, and my ovaries removed. So I woke up postmenopausal. So just like so much happening with my body.
And just shove you into menopause.
Right? Like, so it was a very traumatic, like 2020, 2021, really rough. And then I started those drugs. And thank God in science, I have had no evidence of disease since they removed it from my liver.
Okay.
Which is, my doctor says I'm an outlier because it just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And so the cards really fell into place for me so far in terms of like my gynecologist referred me for that mammogram, right? Even though it didn't matter because it already spread. It was already there. I know signs or symptoms, but we were able to remove it.
Mm-hmm.
If we have the other women in the documentary who are stage 4 don't have the option of surgery because statistically surgery doesn't improve your outcome. If you have
if you have metastatic breast cancer, because it's already metastasized somewhere. But just the feeling that I don't have it in my body, it makes me feel so much better. And I'm less scared and worse. Yeah. I have really, this fall, so October, whatever date I was diagnosed, but I probably had it in me 5 years ago right now. Yeah, it's 5 years since I was diagnosed. So it's really, it's just lucky. So lucky. Yeah.
In case you missed the episode with Allie Mann, founder of Moonlight Cannabis, let me reintroduce you to one of my favorite products on the market. Moonlight is functional cannabis, gummies and drinks designed for real effects like stress relief, energy, relaxation, giggles, or even better sleep. Their products do more than just get you high. So take their signature Half Moon gummy, for example. It's 5 milligrams of THC paired with 10 milligrams of CBD. That balance takes away the anxiety or paranoia and leaves you just feeling happy and relaxed instead. As a mom, I love having options that work for different moments. If I just need to take the edge off without anyone noticing, I'll grab a crescent moon. When I want a little boost and a happy vibe, the half moon is perfect. And if it's a night out with the gals, that's when I reach for a full moon. And for sleep, there's Goodnight Moon, which is a blend of THC, CBD, and CBN that helps me fall asleep faster, stay asleep longer, and actually wake up refreshed. No groggy hangovers. Moonlight was created by a woman for women. It's about balance, joy, and finding the right vibe every time. Go to moonlightmn.com and use code AMY15 for 15% off your first order and experience the magic of Moonlight for yourself. If you've been to an event in Minneapolis recently, chances are your photo was taken by Profeshi. They've become the go-to photography studio in town. Whether it's headshots at their North Loop studio or capturing a night out with friends at a local event, they always deliver the best shots with the brightest, most memorable backdrops. And let's talk about their turnaround time. You'll get a link to the full event gallery within a few days, and if you book a personal session, you'll actually choose your favorite images to purchase before you even leave the studio. After working with photographers Nick and Taya so many times, they've truly become friends. They have a way of making you feel totally at ease, even if you're not used to being the star of your own show. If you've been putting off updating your headshots, let this be your sign to do it. And if you're stressing about what to wear, I've got you. I'm available as an add-on to your session. Planning your next event? Also think of Profeshi. Head to Profeshi.com to book your shoot today and tell them a common thread sent you. It's summer, which means I've basically become a full-time chauffeur, driving the kids to camps, practices, their weekly Starbucks runs, and hangouts with friends. At this point, I practically live in my car. Thankfully, my Lincoln Aviator makes it all a little more enjoyable. The massage chairs are working overtime to keep my back in check on the long days, and on those hot days, the Lincoln app lets me start the car remotely so the AC is blasting when we get in. Let's also mention the cooling seats, which are a lifesaver so I don't burn my legs on the black leather. Honestly, though, the best part was buying from Apple Autos. The process was easy, stress-free, and fair from the trade-in to the final paperwork. They're a family-owned business that gives back in big ways, from building homes with Habitat for Humanity to funding scholarships for students headed to trade schools and universities. You can follow them on Instagram at AppleAutosMN to see all the ways they support the community. And if you're shopping for a new vehicle, visit one of their 7 Twin Cities locations and tell them a common thread sent you.
Yeah. So and today's her birthday.
Today's her birthday.
Yeah. Thank you for celebrating.
I mean, no better way.
Right.
Yeah.
So Amy, talk about your treatment.
Yeah. So after I was officially diagnosed, which was Monday, and that was October 3rd, and I'm going, how fitting that it was October. And then I met it was just like an onslaught of appointments from then until for the next 2 years. I've had hundreds of appointments. And so I met with the oncologist. He's like, this is the staging. These are the, if you have surgery, this is the survival rate. If you have a lumpectomy, if you have a double mastectomy. I'm very much a person that is like, well, should I have done this? And then I would have had a better outcome, or should I have done that? So I knew that about me, and I was like, okay, well, we'll just do a double mastectomy. And originally I was going to try for reconstruction. And after my surgery, you have drains in both sides to help with, and then they put in what are called expanders, which are just horrible.
Super horrible and heavy, and they have this big metal port in them so that they can
find it easily, so they can fill it up and they stretch your skin, and then eventually you get swapped for implants. And he said you just have to have the drains out within, he said normally people have the drains out in like 2 weeks. And mine were in for 5 weeks because my body kept making fluid. They're just like, I don't like what's in here. We're just gonna like keep making fluid. And eventually my surgeon, he's just like, we have to get these out. Like this could potentially be infection and things like that. And I was like, okay. So he took them out, took one out first. And then once he got the other one out, I had them drained 9 more times.
Which is.
And I was like, I don't think my body really likes these. And after my double mastectomy, once they kind of characterized my tumor and found margins and things like that, like my margins weren't great. It was only 1 millimeter from like of a clear margin, which is pretty close. Very, very close. 1 millimeter. This is like teeny tiny.
It all matters.
It all matters, yeah. And originally, radiation was not a part of my treatment plan. But after my surgery, I literally had 4 out of 4. I don't know, what do you call it? Like qualifications. Qualifications, yeah. Of like, if you have 2 out of 4, we'll probably do radiation. And I had all 4. And so I ended up having 25 rounds of radiation. And the expanders were still in when I was doing radiation. And my plastic surgeon, he's like, well, normally we do that after radiation and stuff. And I was like, well, it wasn't in the plan. So how would I have known?
Right.
And so after radiation, I ended up having my ovaries out because the same thing, my cancer is triple positive. So it's estrogen and progesterone fed along with HER2, which is like a growth protein that gets overexpressed, which like means typically that it's a much more aggressive cancer. And so I was like, yeah, whatever, just fire everything at me, you know? And so we did radiation. I had my ovaries out. And I said, well, why don't you just do like a hysterectomy? Because I'm done having kids. Like, you're going to put me in menopause anyways. And they're like, well, we don't do that if we don't have to. I was like, okay. And so after all of that, I had my ovaries out. I ended up getting really bad, like pelvic pain, like when you're having a period. And I met with this new gynecological oncologist. And she said, well, we can either give you pain meds or we can take out your uterus. And I was like, yeah, let's go. Let's do that.
Right.
So from when I was diagnosed, I've had over 10 surgeries. Having my port in and out. I did love my port though. Yes,
Did you name your port?
She worked real good. No, but I did like have it in my hand. They wouldn't let me keep it.
Like Portia?
Portia, cute. So I should have made this. Yeah, should have named it. And ovaries, hysterectomy, double mastectomy. Eventually that year I had the expanders out. And
Because at that point they were like, we can't move forward with the full reconstructive.
no. He's like, I don't think this would be successful for you.
And how did that make you feel when you heard that?
Not great. It was everything because I had shaved my head just like Jacquelyn. And I have, every 4 years, my hair would grow long enough to cut 12 to 14 inches off of it. And I would donate it to like Lots of Love or children's cancer, things like that. And so when I found out that we were doing chemo, so I had 6 rounds of chemo every 3 weeks. And I was like, well, when I found out that your hair just doesn't fall out in the shower, which I don't know why I thought that, but I was like, well, obviously it only falls out in the shower. And then people are like, no, it's everywhere. It's in your bed. It's in your car. I was like, oh, well, that grosses me out a little bit.
Yeah.
So I had our friend that came over and like cut our hair in our house. And she did teeny tiny little conies all over my head. So I was able to donate 15 inches. That's amazing. Because we could go like right next to my scalp. And everyone's like, oh, it's so great. It'll grow back. It's fine. And then I was diagnosed with androgenetic alopecia, which is hormone-related alopecia. So my hair is not growing back as it was. I used to have very long, beautiful hair. And so I've really struggled with that because I lost my breasts, I lost my hair. I didn't think I was all that attached to my hair, but because no one had even said, well, what if it doesn't grow back? Yeah. It was everybody, it'll grow back, it'll grow back, it'll grow back. So one thing my husband always says is just like managing expectations. And I feel like if I would have even read something that said, because I look at all the men on my mom's side of the family and they all look like this. Like they have the hair here and then here's the knee. And I'm pretty much a man. I mean, I don't have ovaries or breasts or uterus or anything. So I really, really struggle with that. Yeah. A lot more than I thought I would. And eyeshadow works really good. I did that this morning. So I was just like, yeah, I looked good.
Well, and to that point where you said you really struggled with it. And when I think another thing people say is it's only hair.
Right? Yes.
And especially as women, we have such our identities.
Yeah. And I felt like that too. I was like, it's only hair, but I always had it.
Yeah, and it wasn't a choice that it was going to lose it.
Right.
So that's totally different.
Yeah. So I ended up having a biopsy, and so they diagnosed me with that. And all of the treatments for hair loss are hormone related. And so I can't do any of them.
Any of that.
And they're like, well, you can try this red light therapy cap. It's only $900. I was like,
it's the other thing.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Great.
It's also
I'll try that.
Yep.
And then it won't work. And then I just wasted $900 on this thing.
Right.
And I just feel like the more and more I go through it, it's just, I either want to shave my head or I don't know. I hate it. I hate looking at it. And people are like, it's getting so long. I was like, I don't care if it's getting long. Like it's, there's nothing there. And I don't know. Like she said, I didn't have the choice.
Yeah. And now you have, I imagine, this like the physical reminder every single day of to look in the mirror of what you went through. Like you can,
and people look at you.
Yeah.
Why it looks so weird? Well, that's how I feel.
Yeah. But I
like
knowing you, that people that look at you, I just see when I watched you up on stage at the end and you're talking, like you are such a light. Yes. You have such a light about you. And I remember when we did that fashion for Twin Cities Live, where I had Jody Levon, Miss William. She did a reading on you.
Yeah.
And it was like, she said,
stop wearing black.
She said, are you dressing at it for your energy? And she was like, your energy is soft and feminine and these lighter colors. And you were wearing all black.
Yeah.
And so I styled you and I remember you had them on the dressing room and you just like,
in those pants?
You remember those pants? And you just like lit up.
Yeah.
And when I saw you on stage in that beautiful pink gown and just the way you were moving. So I know for you, it's all how we feel, right? It doesn't matter what anybody says.
Right.
When we don't feel comfortable in our body, nobody can tell us otherwise.
Right.
I know that. I work with so many women who feel that way. But I want you to hear me say that I see so much more than that. I see the light and the love and the way that you are using your story to try to help others.
Yeah. And that's probably where I struggle the most, is feeling like when I meet new people that I have to explain myself.
Yeah.
Yep. Of why I look like this and why, like, if you know my story, you'll understand. And yeah.
And that's probably exhausting to have to relive that.
And I see other people with thinning hair, and I'm just like, oh, it just makes me sad. Whether they're sad about it or not, it's just like and I've tried a wig, and they're super expensive and really uncomfortable.
I remember my sister-in-law had breast cancer. And so a lot of what you're sharing, I remember, walking beside her as she was going through the reconstructive process. And she used to be a hairstylist, so losing her hair was a really big deal for her. And that is something that I think you just have to, I've been with another great friend of mine as she went through it, and I went to her house when she shaved her head, and and it's just, and here, and my hair is falling out in handfuls right now. I've always had really, really thick hair. For the first time, it's thinning from losing so much weight.
Oh, yeah.
From perimenopause, all this stuff.
Yeah.
And the other day, like a big chunk came out of the shower, and I just put on the shower glass until I come out. And I went to my bed, and I immediately thought of all of you women, of just like how that feels, even though I know that mine won't probably ever get to a place where I have to shave it. And it's just still that feeling. It's gross. It's everywhere. It's concerning when you see it in such clumps.
Yeah. Do you make little swirlies with it?
I actually am really grossed out by it, especially if it's wet.
Oh, good idea.
Like I kind of gag a little when I have to clean it up. So no, I'm not swirling it. I'm trying to get it out.
My hair was like down here, and it was super, super dark. So I just would be like, do I have to leave? It's so gross. No, it's my hair, and it's just clean.
No, once it leaves your head,
just clean. No, then it gets dirty. When it leaves your head, it's dirty. Yes, I get that. Okay.
I had my breast implants taken out a couple of years ago.
I know that. Yep.
Mm-hmm. I thought I had breast implant illness, which there's no way to diagnose if you do or not.
Okay.
But there's just like a long list of symptoms, and nobody can really explain why you feel all these things at once.
Right.
And so I was like, well, just take them out. To your point, Jacquelyn, when you were saying like, you just felt like something was wrong. For about 5 years, I was on this crazy health journey, and I kept saying, I have cancer and no one has found it yet. Right. And by the time I find it, that is going to be my death sentence. Mm-hmm. My husband would just say, he's like, it's almost like you're manifesting this. I'm like, I don't want this to be my story, but nobody would tell me what's wrong with me. And I don't feel good. I don't feel like myself. I have so many symptoms. So anyway, I had my breast implants taken out, and I had the drains. Yeah. So I know what that feels like. Yeah, it's awful. And 2 weeks, mine went 6 weeks.
Oh, like that's the thing. Yeah, it's gross.
It's gross. Yeah. It's these sacks of blood and fluid that's attached to you, and you have to dress around it. And I remember I was on my Instagram, I share everything, and it's my digital diary. And I was crying because I was told I had to have them in for a few more weeks, and I was so ready to have them out.
Yeah.
And I had someone come to my DMs and go, you're crying over your drains when there was something that had it removed. I don't remember what it was, but there was some national tragedy that had happened. And meanwhile, I'm like, consider that on a piece to say to someone.
Yeah.
We are all walking our own struggles. And yes, there's always someone that has it worse than we do. But that doesn't mean that you can't sit with your experience and feel a certain way.
Yeah, it's one of the things Courtney said in her interview that just really changes your perspective. It's like, what's hard for Jackie may not be hard for me. What's hard for me may not be hard for Jackie.
And it's not a competition.
And it's not a competition. So, that's like, who's worse? Because so many people say that to me, and they're just like, oh, well, I had this and this and this happen, but that's nothing compared to what you're going through. And I was like, nope, that's okay. Right. I want you to come to me because I'm a safe space for you, and you can tell me these things, and I'm not going to judge you if it's something that maybe I have handled, and that's fine. Mm-hmm. But everyone experiences life so differently, mm-hmm. and what's hard for one person may not be hard for another, and that's okay. Mm-hmm. But meeting people where they're at and understanding that that's hard for you, and that's okay. Mm-hmm. We can do it together. Yes, you're not alone. Mm-hmm. And so much of my cancer journey, I just felt so alone. And
is that because of the time, like through COVID experiencing this, or is it
it's just
or just people disappointing you?
Because you kind of get scared of other people. Okay. Like going through chemo and everything, they're just like, you can't get sick. I ended up in the ER twice, once on Halloween, which was an adventure in and of itself. Let me tell you,
the people watching.
This guy came in with it was fake blood, but he had this huge gash on his arm. It was part of his costume or whatever, but he had cut his fingers with something. And so he had this huge gash on his arm. It looked like he was bleeding, and the nurses all stood up and go over, and he's just like, well, no, it's fine, and everyone's there in costumes and stuff. And I'm neutropenic, which means your body can't fight anything. And I'm in this, and I waited until the very last second to go in, but I had a fever, and they're just like, if your fever goes over 100, you have to come in. And so I had a fever, everything else. And so they stuck me in like this room kind of off to the side so I wasn't by other people. But you just get afraid of other people. If they're sick and they don't know it, and they could get you sick. It's like your body is so depleted of anything that can fight for you that if you get a cold, that could be it. Or if you get pneumonia, or if you get anything else. So you kind of get afraid of people, which was hard for me because I love hugs. I loved sitting with people. And I would literally ask people if they would sit and be angry with me. And and I didn't have anybody take me up on that. And that was hard because I didn't want to talk. I just wanted to be mad. And I wanted to be near somebody.
You can't, like, for me, the loneliness is there's nothing anyone can do.
Right.
Like,
To make it better.
Right.
Right.
It is just is. And then you have to figure that out in yourself. Like, how am I going to live with this? Right. Because no one can fix this.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's really lonely.
And you think about it every day, Jacquelyn.
Oh, yeah. They have. Yeah.
Yep.
Just constantly.
She's deep. Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Well, then,
And you just have all these things, one right after another, not knowing if that will help or if it will not. Like at the beginning, they're just, this is chemo, this is radiation, this is surgery, this is this and this and this. And you're doing your best to try to manage all the appointments and then also understand what is going on. Like understanding the new terminology, understanding what, because I'm going to have one more surgery to try to unstick my chest. So being flat is, I'm getting more used to it, but my left side that was irradiated is literally just like all the tissues stuck together, stuck to my rib cage. So I have limited mobility, like to the side. I have limited mobility this way. And my muscle spasms are just like intense and crazy. Like if I laugh too hard, they'll just be like, and I'm like, ah! And I can't make it go away. And so they do this surgery, that's called a DIP flap. Deep flap. And they take some of the tissue from your stomach and they put it up in your chest and they take vein or artery. I don't know where are we taking body parts from. So they take vasculature from a different part of your body. And so that it's creating like this new healthy tissue in a spot where the tissue is just very angry because it was irradiated.
When is that?
I don't know yet. I have my consult on September 10th, and then I'll probably schedule it after that if they think it'll make sense because I've already had 4 chest surgeries trying to fix it. So,
well, if you need someone to sit and be angry with you, I'm going to be.
Okay. Now that school has started, I got lots of time.
I will take you up on that. And reach out. I will sit. I won't be angry. And to your point, what everybody needs during this is so different. Like my girlfriend, she was like, I don't want sad eyes. She sent us a long text and she said, and you see, because she is, I call her sunshine pumper. Like that's just what she is. And she's like, I do not want sad eyes. I'm going to be fine. We're going to just keep going. And that was hard for me because I am sad. I'm sad for her, and like, that's not what she wants. And so I'm glad that she said, this is what I need. And if you need the opposite, that's okay.
I had somebody reach out and, because once you get diagnosed with breast cancer, everyone's just like, oh, my friend or my aunt or my whatever, can you talk to them? And so I had a friend reach out and it was when I was still doing chemo. And she sent this huge long paragraph about her friend, her diagnosis, her treatment plan, all these kind of things. And some days, like, it was fine to talk about. But that day, for whatever reason, it just triggered me hard. It just brought me back to sitting in that waiting room, sitting on my living room floor, finding out I had cancer. Just like all these things just felt like it was piling on top of me just from this one message. And I asked her, I said, can you ask next time if I'm in a good headspace to talk about it? And the next time she asked, I was like, it was just like this weight off of me where I'm just going, just ask. Like maybe I don't feel like talking about it today because I was still like deep in treatment. And it's like, I'm getting my body cut up and destroyed and poisoned every other day, it feels like.
If you're just like such good advice in general. Like I started using that when I am working with someone in their closet and they'll say, oh, you know, like my husband passed away or this happened. And I'll say, do you want to talk about it or or should we move on?
Yeah.
But because if they want to talk about it, we can go there. But if they don't,
that's okay too.
That's okay too. Yeah. So I think that's just great in life to just say, do you want to talk?
Yes. Or do you want me to listen or do you want me to try and problem fix it? Or problem solve.
There is Firefly Sisterhood. Yeah. Those are great for anyone listening who's not familiar. That's a great resource where they have breast cancer survivors are mentors to someone as they're going through it. So that's a great place. If you have a friend.
Yep.
Yeah.
Couple have a friend, documentary or mentors there.
Yeah. So I want to talk about your nonprofit as well, Jacquelyn. So can you tell us what you started and what your mission is?
Yeah. So like when you asked if I'm always thinking about this, yes. So I need to channel that somehow. And after I was diagnosed, I learned that very little funding goes to metastatic breast cancer. About 2% of all breast cancer research funding goes to the only deadly form of the disease. So I wanted to change that. And so our last name, Vranicar, my friend Nicole said, well, it needs to be called Vranicar.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. So what we do is we raise funds for metastatic breast cancer research, and we educate and bring awareness to the disease, and then we support the women living with all types of breast cancer through our care packages. And
which I was able to get one.
Yeah.
So we connected because of our breast cancer, or because of my breast cancer diagnosis. And she said, we have these bins for people that need surgery or whatever. And I was just like, oh, that's such a good idea. So I donated to her Amazon for it. And then I was like, oh, I need that actually. Yeah. So I came out one day and there's this bin that says Vranicar on it, or Vranicar. Yeah, Vranicar.
We love a theme.
Yeah, love a theme. But it had everything in there I didn't know I needed for surgery. Like a seatbelt cover for my chest surgery and like this thing that goes on your chest that's like really cushy and lovely. It's like a little hug. But it fits ice packs in it. So after you have your surgery, it has ice packs in it, and a robe that has drain pockets in it so you can walk around and not worry about your drains.
Yeah.
And it was just all these things I had no idea that I needed.
And it's free. So visit the website.
Yeah.
That's the website.
Vranicar.org.
Okay. I'll put it on the show notes as well. But
yeah. It's I mean, my main goal is to find as much money as we can. Because it takes a lot of money to fund research.
Yeah.
And I am reminded daily, I think about the women who signed up for clinical trials that then generated the drug that I take every day. I mean, my drug was approved in 2017. And without that, it really, my life would be much different. Yeah. So, and it's all because of research. Yeah. Have to fund the research, and it costs millions and billions of dollars. And it feels sometimes like, well, it's just a drop in the bucket. But when we meet with the researchers at the University of Minnesota, who we often partner with, they literally have a 3-ring binder. And they have said, the cures are in here, but we don't have like the $50,000, the $200,000 to take it out of the binder, to get it into our lab, to prove that we can do it. Because once we do that, then the money starts coming in, but we need that seed money.
Right.
And so that was so encouraging. Like, okay, you have a $10 donation. It doesn't feel like a lot, but it all adds up, and it really does make a difference. So,
and there's also the MetaViber.
Right. MetaViber is a great.
Yeah, that's.
So they're taking a pause.
Are they? Okay.
Yep. They're taking a pause. But same thing. They only fund stage 4 breast cancer research. And my thought is that when we cure stage 4, any kind of cancer, it helps all cancers.
Yes.
We don't want to die from it. Right. It's everyone's fear. You're diagnosed with cancer, and yet you fear that you're going to die. And so if we can figure that part out, then we've actually saved lives.
Yeah.
And so because,
And not just breast cancer lives.
right, not just breast cancer lives, they know they can cure colon cancer with this TIL therapy that we're helping fund. They know they can cure metastatic colon cancer. So now they're moving it into metastatic breast cancer and like, how can we make this work for breast cancer? It is, unfortunately, women who are diagnosed with early stage breast cancer, if it's stage 0, 1, 2, or 3, the risk of recurrence is upwards of 30%. And that could be years or decades later.
Right.
And so I feel like if 30% of women diagnosed with breast cancer eventually become metastatic, then 30% of breast cancer research funds should be funneling that type of breast cancer, right?
Right.
Or more, but at the minimum, it should be 30%. And right now, the 2% is just disgraceful because, 120 women die every day from this disease. And those aren't just numbers, right? Those are women. They're moms and sisters, and they matter. And so, that is what I spend all my time doing now.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Not just a suburban hockey mom, but also non-profit
mom of 4.
president. Yeah. So, it's really become a mission.
That's amazing. Just to take it while you're still living with this every day, right? And then to say, how can I help others? I think that's such a special human being to be able to do that. So thank you for all you're doing.
It is a pleasure.
I would love to continue to work with you on how I can support free awareness.
We have a fashion show in our future.
About that. I was like, we better get back from vacation. Yes, okay, I'm in.
You have not heard the last of us.
Yes, I would love to. I'd be honored to.
Oh yeah, no one's heard The Last of Us.
The documentary, where can people, I know there was the pre-screening here. Is it going to be available soon? Do we know yet where people can watch that?
So currently we are in the process of raising funds to get it into film festivals.
Okay.
And until we have done that part, we're not able to make it readily available for people to see.
So how can people donate to help you raise the funds?
Yeah, if you go to vranicar.org. So Jackie's website. Okay. Yep. And so we're looking for 10,000.
Okay.
To be able to submit to, we have 29 there's like thousands of film festivals. Mm-hmm. So we have 29 that I kind of went through and picked out that are women focused, LGBTQ and Asian focused. And that is just based on the talent that we have in the documentary and our production team and everything. So as soon as we do have some more B-roll that we're going to shoot with some of the women. And then, so we'll have our completed project, I think middle of October.
Okay.
And then we'll start submitting after that. Okay. And the deadlines range all over the place. And some entry fees are $10, some are $200. Mm-hmm. So I kind of tried to pick a good mix of both. Yeah. It's like, well, let's go big. Let's try for, let's go to Cannes.
Yeah. We go commercial. Yes. And beyond that being like super.
Can I come cool stylist?
Yes. I need her. Because that is super cool, right? Like saying that we've done that. But the goal there is the more people. I really believe, and I joked about this in the documentary, like follow me on social media. Yeah. But truly, like if people think it's important, then it becomes important.
Yeah.
You get more funding, you get more attention. And so follow me on social media.
Yes.
But really, it's onto the documentary so more people can see it. And the right person can see it. And it can save, it seems cliche, but it can save women's lives.
Yeah.
And that's our goal.
And the people that have already reached out since the screening it's heartbreaking and heartwarming at the same time.
Yeah.
I had actually a former employee, her mom had breast cancer and it came back 3 times. Mm. And this was 15 to 20 years ago, she said. And she goes, I would not have known how much she was hiding it from us, just of what she was going through and the pain she was feeling and everything like that, unless I had seen this. Mm. And because we have Brittany, who is a pre-Viber, who has the BRCA mutation, she's like, I contacted my mom and I told her, it was like, you either have to get retested again or figure out like what your test results were. Because at that time, they didn't have that information that they do now. And her mom literally got back to her the next day and she's like, I have the BRCA mutation. And because of the documentary, she found that out.
Yeah.
And now her and her sister can get tested for free and see if they have the gene and kind of going from there. And I mean, she sent me this huge, and I got chills. And it will save lives.
You know, you're making a difference.
Yeah. Right. And seeing that in real time is wild. It's just, and people that said, I scheduled my mammogram and I was putting on because I didn't want to.
Yeah.
Or I did a self-exam when I got home. Just to even get a baseline for your body.
Yeah.
Like I have a PET CT coming up soon. And I've had so many chest surgeries, I don't recognize my chest anymore. So I don't know what is normal anymore. So I'm just like, okay, like what's this thing or what's that? Or like now I feel this lump thing. Is that like actual lump or that's like a fat deposit or that's like, so finding your normal of whatever that means is just getting to know your body.
Yeah.
And it feels weird at first, but if it can prevent you from going through all of this, then it's hard.
Thank you so much for sharing your story, reliving some of these tough moments, your words of wisdom, and the great work that you're doing. I know that why I started this podcast is for this reason. To give people a safe space to share and knowing that somebody's going to hear this and something is going to stay with them. Whether it's how to better show up for people in their lives that are going through it, or maybe it helps them, take the step to go in and get testing done too. So thank you.
Thank you.
Last question I asked every guest is, what is one common thread that you believe connects us all as humans?
Love. I think it's our health. And again, I love the saying.
You do love it.
Yeah, we all want to live in good.
Yeah. You don't have your health.
Yeah. But I feel like people crave love.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
And acceptance of just who they are.
Yeah.
And that can change. My best friend, Nikki, we've been best friends for 24 years, and she has seen me in my absolute worst. And she's seen me in my absolute best. And she has loved every version of me. And it's just,
how like they're not to
make
them tight.
Yeah. And so I feel people just want to be seen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday. Absolutely something to celebrate, right?
Yeah. Yes. It's been a gift. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.